Have you ever wondered what it's like to own your own business? Be your own boss? Welcome to Season 7 of Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real, where we meet with corporate leaders who have taken the leap to business owner and join us as part of the Share Your Stories Online series. Hello, I'm Trish Tonak, and today we're going to meet a small business owner, celebrate their great idea, and introduce you to the person behind the logo. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to the show. Our guest joins us from Canton, Connecticut. Jacqueline Kane is a visionary healer, best-selling author, and the co-founder of the Goddess Revolution. She is the creator of the Heal Your Back and Triple Your Income framework. She blends energy medicine and emotional mastery to activate lasting freedom, wealth, and visibility. Jacqueline is going to share her story on entrepreneurship and give us a look behind the scenes into how your body is holding emotional and ancestral patterns that affect your pain, your money, and your ability to receive. I'd like to welcome and introduce everyone to Jacqueline.
Thank you for having me.
I'm seeing a trend, and the trend is that most entrepreneurs are now feeling that they need to trademark their great ideas. And you actually have two programs that you've trademarked. One is Heal Your Back and Triple Your Income, and the other is Vibrational Prosperity Method. So what was the tipping point for you, Jacqueline? What was the reason why you decided to trademark those two great ideas?
Well, I feel that it's what my clients are actually able to do and receive. And there's so many people saying that clients get the results, but they don't always. And I'm all about integrity and what's really important for people and in marketing and all those things. So when I put something out there, I really want to say, this is what we do.
Right.
And it was something that other people had said to me, you should really trademark that because it's different. Right. And all the coaches that I had hired in the beginning, they're like, you got to pick a lane, right? You got to pick either helping people get out of pain or you got to pick wealth. And I tried that for a long, long time. And I'm like, you know what? It's not true. It all goes hand in hand. When you shift in one area of your life and you're able to release the pain you've had for 20, 30, 50 years, money shows up. It's hand in hand. I can't divide it. I can't say, oh, I only want to help people get out of pain. But wouldn't you like to make more money? Wouldn't you like that to come through?
Right.
So for me, trademarking all of that was super important for me.
And you know what I think is really interesting? So give us a little bit of the background. So I know the trademark process is not for the faint of heart, right? I mean, it can take either a significantly long time or you kind of follow a process that takes you to being able to trademark and it happens within a year. So in your experience, did you trademark both of them at the same time or did you do them separately?
I did them separately.
And was there a significant difference in the time that it took to trademark between the two programs?
Yeah, I think I had to work enough clients through it to really feel confident that this was a result.
Right.
I had to really believe in the results that my clients were getting and then say, okay, it's time to trademark.
Right.
So again, it does take time. It takes the right clients. It takes me stepping into the part of me that believes in what I do and then going after that.
Right, right. Well, kudos to you because, most people shy away from the trademark experience because they're really uncomfortable with all of the work that you have to do behind the scenes in order to ensure that your system or your process is validated. So, congratulations to you for being able to take the time, the energy, and the effort to really protect your thought leadership, right? Because it's not
Yeah,
that you don't want to share it, you just don't want somebody else to take that great idea and morph it or change it in some way so that,
yeah,
they use it to their benefit, right?
right, right.
Talk a little bit about generational pain, because when I was reading through your guest blog and visited your website, and I thought, this is a really interesting concept, because that's not necessarily having low back issues that you got from lifting a chair that was too heavy, or from, falling down the stairs, although it can be. You're
Mhm.
talking about something that's inherent, something that is passed on from, one person to another. Give us an indication as to the definition of that. What does that look like?
So first of all, ancestral energy gets passed down, right? We are created in our mother's womb. And as we're created in that womb, we take on all of her emotions, all of her and everybody else in the family line, their unresolved emotional issues. We are created in that energy. And so ancestral energy includes the ability to live pain-free and live with vitality. It impacts your wealth, your relationships, and your ability to stand in your power. So I was an x-ray tech and I became a massage therapist. And I was always just curious who's getting out of pain and who's not getting out of pain, right?
Mm.
I always kind of focus on why aren't you getting out of pain when this person over here, one massage and the pain is gone.
Right.
So I experienced an ancestral clearing with one of my coaches, and he took all of us through. There were probably like 100 or 150 of us in this event. He took all of us through this experience. And actually, let me give you a little backtrack
Background.
before that. I jumped right into it. So it was around 2015. It was Thanksgiving. I was with my in-laws and my sister-in-law and my husband's parents. And I knew that my sister-in-law had just lost her sister and her father, and they were all really close. And I said, why don't we go away? Why don't we go to Ireland? My parents were from, in-laws are from Ireland. Why don't we go? The grandkids were at a great age. And for some reason, my in-laws were adamant. They're like, we're not going. We're not going. And my husband and I were like, what is that about? But okay, we didn't talk about it. 3 months later, I'm in Texas with one of my coaches, and he takes all of us through this visualization. I didn't necessarily feel a shift in my body, but I stood up. A bunch of us stood up. It was on break, and we started walking. I only took a couple steps, and my son texted me to say, hey, I found a house for all 13 of us when we go to Ireland. I said, what are you talking about? We're not going. The second text was my husband to say that his parents changed their mind. We're all going and we're looking at flights.
Wow.
It was immediately after he took us through this experience. So I was amazed and floored, like what just happened, because
Hmm.
I'm in Texas, they're in Connecticut, and something energetically changed in our family.
Right.
We had the most amazing experience. My mother-in-law still talks about how the house was perfect, the vacation, the time to get, all of it was perfect. So I was a massage therapist at that time, and I had a lot of clients in pain. And I said, let's just try this thing. So I
Hmm.
started taking more people through this experience, and their pain was going away when nothing else was working.
Right.
So constantly using this technique over and over again. And then people started saying, hey, like I got a tax refund, or my mother just gave me $3,000 to buy a car, or uh, somebody went through it, a mortgage guy, and he's tripling his income. Like,
Wow.
so the more I do it, the more like it's just an expectation right now that this is going to
Sure.
happen, that your
Sure.
relationships are going to improve, your health is going to get so much better, you're finally going to release all that pain that you've tried everything for and nothing worked,
Right.
and the money that you finally really desire is going to show up.
So here's an interesting question from my point of view, listening to this amazing process that you have and the results that you're getting. What if somebody doesn't have that niggling pain, but
Mhm.
they've got this feeling that something is just not right? Things are going along okay. I'm happy. Life is working out, but I just really feel like there's so much more, but I can't tap into what the much more is. Does it help for those folks as well?
Yeah, because there's something off energetically. It's
Right,
an energetic problem. It's not a physical problem. It's an
right.
energetic problem. And that's even like going back to physical pain.
Mhm.
We're trying to address the physical part of the pain, but
Right.
again, that's not the problem. That's why you go to
Mhm.
chiropractors and injections and surgeries, because
Right.
it's an emotional, energetic problem.
Yeah, that's not the root cause, right?
It's not the root cause, not at all.
Right.
The root cause is when you were a child and you got bullied all the time, or maybe you were raised in an abusive family, or maybe it was something small where the teacher laughed at you, right? Like it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's the root cause. You have to heal that part of you because when you
Right.
created beliefs that you're not good enough, that you you yeah, for some reason you aren't able to be seen and heard, you have to stay small. When you heal that, everything changes.
So for our viewing and listening audience who you've piqued their interest and they're like, okay, this is making sense to me. How long does the process take? So, because sometimes when we go to the doctor, it's multiple visits before we feel when you go to the chiropractor, it's multiple times. Even meditation or even doing something,
Yeah,
wellness, right? Takes a
sure.
long time before we start to see results. And I think that's why people get discouraged, right? They probably quit just before they're
Yeah.
going to make that breakthrough. So,
Yeah.
give our viewing and listening audience an idea about the time commitment that they would need to work with you in order to get results.
This is really an individual case. So some people, they can do just a few sessions and they're out of pain,
Right.
right? But what I'm seeing, the longer I work with a person, I'm going to see your sabotaging habits and patterns. And we're going to get in touch with that inner saboteur because you didn't get here overnight.
Right.
You got here 50 years times 365 days. How many minutes, how many seconds were you living in that environment and
Mm.
that energy? And so I really prefer to work with somebody like that's why I love my 3-month program. Imagine in 3 months, you're in a totally different space and it's not going to come back. So there are some people who are like they don't want to do a long program or they just want a session or two and you're going to feel better. You're going to get some results, but it may not last as long and then you're going to be at that other level which is better than where you were, but not really where you want to go.
Right.
And
Right.
so the longer I work with you, the better results you're going to get because I want you to get out of pain.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
want you to like figure out who are you? What do you really love? I want you to start attracting all that you really can attract, not just for you, but there's a ripple effect for your family, for your children, for your generations going forward.
So, if you were to, for the folks who are listening to this and they're saying, okay, but am I your ideal client? Like, is it 20 people who are in their 20s who maybe are just starting out? They're building their leadership skills, they've got their first career job, or is it the people who are in the latter part of their careers, what I call the winter of your career, when you've kind of been at it for a long time and you're in your 50s or your 60s and you're maybe getting ready to retire or maybe
Yeah,
getting ready to, right, to start something else. You're
exactly.
you're at the tipping point of making some decisions to really change your life based on what you've been doing for the last 20 or 30 years,
Yeah.
but you're not quite sure. Like, so who is your ideal client? Who would be the best person, or who do you find that you work with most often?
My best ideal client is women between like 45 and 65. They've
Wow.
they've been around enough. We know who we are. We know the habits and patterns we've been doing are not working and we want
Right.
something more. But I have worked with a couple younger, like in their 20s, early 30s, who are very aware. And, when you do this work at that age,
Yeah.
oh
Just
my,
think of the future.
oh, if you have children, like you're going to change. I have chills just thinking about it
Right.
because you're going to raise a different child
Right.
instead of waiting till you're 40, 50, 60 years old to do this work, right?
Right.
Um, so really anybody who is like, I'm done with not being where I want to be. I'm
Right.
done saying all the affirmations that just haven't gotten me. The secret
Where
said,
I want
just
to
say
go.
affirmations and everything will be great. No, it hasn't worked out.
Yeah, not always. And so give me an indication as to how you market to these folks, because I mean, let's face it, there's some really awesome platforms that we can share thought leadership and make connections with people. There's great community groups where you can, attend networking events in person or online. There's just so many opportunities to make connections with folks. But what do you feel is the best way for you to connect with those prospects who may then decide to become clients?
I love the in-person, so I'm involved in like BNI groups and chamber groups and any in-person events.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Goddess group is online. It's on Facebook. I do a lot with Facebook, and social media. Some people watch for a long time before they actually say,
Sure.
yes, it's my time.
Sure.
And as a business owner, you have to be everywhere,
Right.
right? You
Yeah.
just have to
Because you
do
just never
everything.
know,
You never
right?
know. I'm even in the Natural Nutmeg magazine, writing articles for them. So you kind of have to be everywhere. Writing books, you have to be everywhere.
Right. So let's talk a little bit. So you mentioned two things. First, we'll talk about the fact that you're a best-selling author, and then I want you to tell us a little bit about the Goddess Revolution, because the partnership that you have with the three other individuals, thank you so much. You were a sponsor for us last year, which was greatly beneficial to the grant program. But tell us a little bit about becoming a best-selling author. What is the book that gave you that accolade of being a best-selling author?
The Energy Medicine Solution. I just kept getting this nudge, write a book, write a book. And I didn't want to because I knew how much work it would be, but
Exactly.
it wouldn't go away. I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And I gathered 24 other amazing healers and practitioners, and we put this book together that became an Amazon best-selling book, where everybody tells their story of what they went through and then the healing modality that they
They
love
use.
using. So
Mm,
basically, people have read the book and they've healed their lives and changed their lives just by reading it and going through the processes.
right.
Um, and I'm sorry, what was the other question?
About the Goddess Revolution, because this is
Oh,
an amazing community that you've developed. I mean, that's how we met, right? This is the,
yes. Yes, through
we were in,
Natasha.
yeah, we were introduced by someone who's, a wonderful support mechanism. Actually, Natasha Sharma is one of our brand ambassadors this year. We've
Yep.
started some community awards. And so she introduced us. And
Yep.
now, then you shared your guest blog. Now here we are on the podcast. But give us a little bit of a behind the scenes into the Goddess Revolution, because you're four individuals who have different disciplines in terms of
Yes.
healing modalities. You've gotten
Yes.
together. Your primary connection point is Facebook to try to meet
Mhm.
folks like myself who may be interested in making a change.
Mhm.
How did that come about? How did the Goddess Revolution take shape?
That was really Christy Sullivan's creation. She put us all together. She's an amazing connector of putting really great people together. And we've been just working with women week to week to stay on track. It's not just to stay on track, but to elevate who we are.
Right.
Again, to release the parts of us that are really wounded, raise our vibration so that we can live and create the life we love. And there's probably 1,000 or more ways to heal, right? All different kinds of modalities. So each one of us each week share our own modalities. And it's been an amazing journey.
I
The
bet.
women have come so far. we have come far ourselves.
Mhm.
And now it's more like it's a support group. You know, there's things that are happening in the world out there. So it's
Mhm.
nice that we come together every week to stay centered, to elevate our energy, to stay grounded, that there's something else, right? Don't get distracted by the noise. Come
Right.
back here, just stay grounded. What are we doing individually every single day to help people?
Right. Now, there is something to a collective voice for sure, right? And we all have folks along the way who help us get to where we are. Like you and I are having this conversation. There's folks who are listening to us speak, and somewhere it's going to make a connection with somebody who's listening to us, who is then going to feel the need to reach out. But have you had a mentor or somebody who influenced you in some way to say, that's a really interesting idea or perspective. I'm going to explore that more? Because I think as we expand our community bases and we meet more people, we are influenced by each other, right?
Yeah.
Is there a particular mentor or someone along the way? I mean, you mentioned that you were an x-ray tech and then you were, so I mean, clearly there was someone that you met along the way who changed your thinking so that you moved into a new career path. So is there someone that comes to mind, and what did they help you with? Because I think people are afraid to change, right?
It's scary to change. It's
Right.
scary. It's so scary. It's easier just to stay small, stay wounded, stay in our isolation, right?
Right.
And yes, I have hired coaches, but I think the most important shift for me was getting my first massage on a cruise ship. That's when I was an X-ray tech. I went on a singles cruise with my friends, and every time I would go on vacation, I'd have a long list of everything I wanted to do. I had this massage and I was so relaxed. My friends even had to dress me to go out that evening because I was
Wow.
just so grounded and calm. And I'm like, what just happened?
Happened. Yeah.
This is, those moments, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
ancestral clearing, the massage was the same thing for me. And that's when I was on a singles cruise, so I didn't even meet my husband back then. But I just knew at some point I wanted to do that because it was so profound and it was so relaxing.
And you know
Um,
what I love about that experience, Jacqueline, is that it wasn't planned. It was a serendipity kind of moment, right? You were just
yes,
at the right
yes,
place at the right time, and there was an energy exchange between two people. And whether
mhm,
that's verbal or physical, it was a
yeah,
physical experience. It had a profound effect on you,
yeah. And
right?
looking back, like I wasn't even really into paying for massages for myself. So looking back, it's really interesting that I did that
Even
for
did that.
myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I mean, I would
Exactly.
buy rings and jewelry because we were down in the Caribbean on the cruise. But actually to take time and do a massage, that was just one of those memorable
Memorable.
moments.
Yeah. Now,
Something else
self-care.
had a hand in that.
Yeah, exactly. You were getting a nudge from somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about self-care, because that is not something, you talk about your target market is sort of between 40 and 65. And most women in that age cohort are running at Mach 2 with their hair on fire. They have kids, they have a career, they have grandchildren, they have a husband, they have, like everything is just going full tilt. And you're trying to do everything that you can for everyone else because we feel as caregivers, we have to continually support other people. But
Yeah.
self-care is something I don't think we really do very well.
No,
So for those who are listening to us and saying, "Oh yeah, seriously, I mean, you should see my to-do list for the week." Are you kidding? Is there
I don't
a
have
tip?
time for self-care. Yeah.
Exactly. So is there a tip or something that's, it's not going to take hours of commitment, but
Mm.
is there something in your repertoire of skills and tools in your toolbox as a healer that you can say, okay, I hear you. I know that life is crazy and things are really busy, but just try this. Try this little thing once a day, and it will help to refocus your energy and give you a sense of calm. Is there something that you can share with us?
Sure. And we are in that. So my grandkids are here at the house living with us now. And it brings me back to when my kids were that young, right? And it's so important, even if you just take 5 minutes and go outside, just yourself, take 5 minutes, ground. Um, or even my husband and I will just get on our bike and just go for a half hour, 15, 20-minute bike ride. That alone will lift you up because you're doing something for you.
You.
And that will give you the energy to take care of everything else that's on your plate, right? The other tools I love, I'll journal, I'll get paper and pen. If I'm really tired and exhausted, I'll just write, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. And then after a while, you're like, oh, I'm not so tired anymore. Or I love EFT tapping. You just tap on certain acupressure points and you just say, I'm tired, I'm tired, tired. When your body gets to that place that's used to you doing that, it'll be like, oh, I get to relax.
Right.
And then you have the energy to do everything you need to do, and it will get done faster and easier, right?
So here's another question, maybe before we get to your wonderful 3 words of advice. How do people create, because that sounds really wonderful. You're saying, okay, it can be as simple as 5 minutes. Just walk out, walk out of the condo, the house, the whatever, go into the backyard, find a little piece of grass, kick your shoes off and walk in. I mean, we all can't do that when it's snowing outside, but kick your shoes off and connect with the earth for just 5 minutes. Like it'll give you a really, it's an uplifting experience. How do we create the healthy boundaries? How do we say when the to-do list for the day, the week, the month is so overwhelming? And the first thing that we say is, I don't even have 5 minutes. I don't have time. How do you convince yourself that the healthy boundary is worth it? Because in the long run, we can't help someone else if we don't help ourselves first.
Yeah. I think you have to if you can't do it yourself, then hire somebody. Just find a coach, an accountability friend who will say, hey, I need help with this.
Right.
And if it's a real problem and you really want to get to the root cause of that, then absolutely hire somebody. This is exactly what I help my women do.
Right.
Have that accountability friend because you're exhausted.
That's right.
And you have to finally one day say, I have to do something different.
Right. Because I don't even think we realize it, right? It's until we're getting to the breaking point that we think, oh, geez, I just can't keep doing this. And if I don't change what I'm doing, I can see that it's going to create difficulties down the road, right?
Or you're going to get sick.
Right.
Some way
Right.
your body will say, you have to stop.
Right. And that's the important piece, right? Because your mind may be still going full tilt, but your body is going to stop you in your tracks and say, yeah,
Absolutely.
we're not doing this anymore. Right.
Right. So you will get severely sick. You'll
Right.
end up with cancer, or you'll have to take care of somebody else. Something
Right.
will happen
Right.
for
To
you to
stop
change.
you. Yeah, for sure. I love the very actionable things that we have spoke of that are not so over the top. They're not, we don't have to go out and invest all this money. What we have to do is invest the time in ourselves. And then that gives us the freedom to then pursue the things that we want to do down the road. So thank you very much for giving us those wonderful little nuggets that we can all take away and integrate into our daily schedules. Now, one of the things that we do in our guest blog is we ask folks to share 3 words of advice. And I would really like for you to wrap up our time together by sharing with our viewing and listening audience why heal, receive, and rise are the 3 words that you feel resonates with you on your journey.
So first, you have to heal the parts of you that have been wounded, the inner critic, the control, the pusher inside of you. You have to get to the root cause of why those parts are so strong. When you do that, then you get to receive more support. You get to receive vitality, strength, all the things you really desire. And then when you do that, then you get to rise into becoming the person you've always wanted to be. And this is with ease, flow, and abundance, these things will show up. But that's the process.
Well, I love that you've taken us through, it's like it makes so much sense. It's like a 3-step process, right? Heal, receive, and rise. You do all of those things in the right order, and then eventually you're going to see the results that you're looking for. So, Jacqueline, I'd really like to thank you for joining me today and giving us insight into how we step into acceptance and being able to receive those things that we're looking for so that we can rise and live the life that we were put here to live. So thank you so much for joining me.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
To you, our viewing and listening audience who've spent some time with us today, I'd like to thank you for tuning in for this edition of Keeping It Real. And I'd like to send my personal thanks to all of our sponsors, mentors, for their ongoing support. And ask that you share and invite your friends and colleagues to subscribe to our show, Business Mentorship Keeping It Real, found on YouTube and your favorite podcast channel. Jacqueline and I would like to thank you for joining us, and we look forward to meeting you next time when we meet another business owner and celebrate their great idea.